Well, I'm going to connect some dots today that might not on the surface seem to connect, two in particular. And this is the first one. Spermageddon. This is one of a stream of reports in the media this week about a study, 43,000 men involved, that concluded that sperm counts are plummeting catastrophically, to the point where the lead researcher was saying that if it continues like this, then there is a threat to the human race itself. Dot number two is this one, a article in a British newspaper, 800 children as young as 10 given sex change drugs. And of course, we've had this explosion of focus in this whole arena we call transgender in recent times. And the third dot, the one that might not seem to be connected at all, is this one. Will robots destroy us? This is a report, again widely reported around the world, of this spat between two of these high-tech Silicon Valley moguls, Mark Zuckerberg, the T-shirt at Facebook, and Elon Musk, a co-founder of PayPal, and one of the leaders in this whole transhumanist high-tech arena. And they have very differing views on the dangers or benefits of artificial intelligence. So there's three dots which would not appear on the surface to be connected, like I say, two of them particularly. But let's start off with this collapse in sperm counts. This was a study, like I say, of 43,000 men. And what they did was pull together nearly 200 other studies and did an analysis of them. And they were basically focused in the Western world countries of North America, Europe, Australia, New Zealand. And they found a 59.3% decline in total sperm count in men from those areas of the world. Western birth rates have also been falling for 30 years, according to reports, in this same period. And of course, fertility services, which when I was young, I've got a good memory, you hardly ever heard of. It's now a massive industry trying to help couples conceive children. And another thing that's happened in this period, when something clearly is messing with the reproductive processes in men, not only men probably, but this is what this study was about. Testicular cancer rates have doubled in 30 years. This same recurring period that we keep hearing about this week. And Richard Sharp, professor of reproductive health at the University of Edinburgh, and apparently a recognized expert on toxins in the environment, he said this about falling sperm counts. Now, there can be little doubt that it is real, so it is time for action. Something in our modern lifestyle, diet, or environment is causing this, and it's getting progressively worse. Now, in that report about Spermageddon, the subheadline was worse to the effect of, is this planet Earth giving us payback? I suggest after nearly 30 years of full-time research into that which is really running this human society, that it ain't planet Earth. This is systematic, and that's what connects to the other dots, as I'll come to. So here we have a situation where the modern world of toxicity. I mean, look, anywhere you go, if you don't use kind of, if you like, organic products, then the kitchen, the bathroom is a place of toxicity with all the stuff for cleaners and what have you, washing up liquids. And then you go through an average day going about your life and look at all the times you come uh, into contact with toxicity. And of course, because of this extraordinary expansion of technology based on radiation, we live in an incredibly irradiated environment, uh, incredible in its increase compared when I was a kid in the 1950s. And one of these um, studies into the causes of falling sperm counts is one that was in Israel and Australia, and it highlighted the potential adverse effect on sperm of cell phones carried in trouser pockets. I mean, there it is, right next to said sperm count, all day with most people, and you've got this radiation, this microwave radiation, beating away in just the place you don't want it. Oh no, that won't hurt. Are you kidding? I mean, the reasons that this sperm collapse is happening, or many of the reasons, are actually in our face, staring at us. It's me. So another villain that's being put forward are chemicals in the environment that mimic the female sex hormone estrogen. Um, what are we having the female sex organ in the environment for? Now, what you can say is, because it's a choice, either the people doing it, ultimately, who are deciding it's going to be done, are freaking stupid, and there will be cases of that lower down the pyramid, or it's being done systematically. And I say higher up the pyramid, that is exactly what's happening. There is a war on the human body, not least human reproduction. So some other things that are in the environment and all around us, and in the things that people use. Um, Other leading theories, this story says, about the cause of falling male births and sperm counts include exposure to pesticides, herbicides, mercury, lead, dioxin, and other pollutants, which are called endocrine disrupting chemicals. These are the glands of the endocrine system, which are absolutely fundamental to human health. And these endocrine disrupting chemicals are known as EDCs. And EDCs are found in plastics, food containers and packaging, canned food and drinks, electrics, solvents, cleaning products, detergents, pesticides, cosmetics, soaps, car exhausts, polish, paints, batteries, dental fillings, the mercury, and many types of fish, including swordfish. Often highlighted is the hormone disruptor known as BPA, bisphenol or bisphenol. And BPA is found in tin cans, which people put food in bottles, plastic food containers, and cash register receipts. Thank you, sir. Here's your receipt. You don't want children, do you? So you add to that herbicides sprayed on farms, parks, golf courses, and put all these things together. And we are being deluged at every angle with substances and radiation that are doing for sperm counts. And that, of course, it goes without saying, but I will anyway, eventually, if that goes on, as that lead researcher said, does for the human race. And this is Dr. Melody Millam Potter. She's an American clinical health psychologist, been doing that for 30 years. And she wrote this in an excellent article. Synthetic chemicals can create these silent switches in nature's plan. ECDs, or EDCs, we encounter every day can alter the sex hormone balance, preventing male genitals from growing properly. By suppressing testosterone or by enhancing or mimicking the female sex hormone estrogen, they can undermine the natural testosterone messages surging through a growing fetus. For instance, estrogen mimics such as dioxin, a widespread pollutant and a potent endocrine disruptor, can intercept and overcome a hormonal message from a male gene. Dioxin also acts as a testosterone flusher, reducing male hormone concentrations so much that the male action may not be stimulated adequately. Testosterone suppressors like DDT can block its position as on a receptor. Hormone stimulators can intensify the action of a natural hormone so much that the system shuts down and refuses to receive a male go-ahead signal. In fact, research substantiates that exposure to EDCs at a crucial time can disrupt the entire genital sequence. And so while all this is going on, of course, we've had this explosion of focus out of nowhere in terms of its speed on this whole arena of transgender. And there's a number of things that come from that. First of all, whether someone feels they're a man or feels they're a woman is none of my business. Good luck to you. You do what you feel is right for you, and that should be respected and not in any way discriminated against. Of course not. But if we're going to be a bit bloody streetwise, then we've got to look a bit further afield than that and ask why so many more people, young people, are questioning their gender, and why it's become such a focus by, quote, the system, in the sense that this subject is everywhere and impacting on even the language that's used now. Now, if you look at what is happening from this chemical point of view, indeed what I've just described in that quote, then clearly there is tremendous potential for these chemicals and other disruptors, as they're called, in changing the way that the body develops in terms of its male-female direction. But another reason that there is so much focus in the transgender area, and why so many more people, young people particularly, are questioning their gender is because they are being subjected to a propaganda, perception manipulation onslaught to encourage them to question what they weren't questioning before. It's coming from all directions. Now, you can say, oh, you shouldn't say that. It's discrimination against transgender people. No, it's not. It's silly. It's asking why this propaganda is happening. And it's asking what is the effect on gender balance in the body of all these chemicals that are clearly doing for sperm counts. And there was this recently. There was a head teacher at a school in London, posh school, costs lots of money to go there. And this school announced that it was considering allowing boys to wear skirts because growing numbers of children are questioning their gender and the binary way people look at things, quote. Now, why do you think that is? That it's just happened? No, there's a reason it's happening, probably more than one, but certainly among them, real up there, is this propaganda of perceptual deception. And this head teacher said this, two quotes which basically say it all. He didn't realize it was, but he was. Number one, in common with all other schools and youth organizations, we are seeing greater numbers of pupils questioning gender identity than in the past. Oh, I wonder why that could be. What do you think? And his second quote is, having said that, in the years gone by, absolutely no young people were raising this issue at all, and it seems inconceivable that these sorts of questions simply didn't exist. Well, maybe they didn't on the scale that they do now because of this propaganda and because of this impact on male-female balance triggered and instigated by this chemical tidal wave that we now call human society. And the American College of Pediatricians reported that children are being indoctrinated to reassess their gender with reckless, profit-driven doctors prescribing sex change hormones to children as young as 12. The report condemned this as child abuse. And if we come to that report from earlier, this one, we see the same happening in Britain. The report says more than 800 children in England, some as young as 10, are being given controversial drugs to help them change gender. The National Health Service, for people around the world, that's the state, although give them time, it won't be, the state health service. The NHS treatment, which halts the onset of adulthood, is aimed at young people who believe they are trapped in the wrong body. And how many didn't believe that until the propaganda started? Powerful monthly hormone injections stop the development of sex organs, breasts, and body hair, making it easier for doctors to carry out sex swap surgery later, the report goes on. Until now, it was thought that just a handful of children and teenagers were receiving the injections known as puberty blockers. But the Mail on Sunday, which did a very good report on this, can reveal that more than 600 young people are undergoing treatment at the Gender Identity Development Service clinic at the University College Hospital in London, and that 200 are at a clinic in Leeds, And the Mail on Sunday has been told that 230 of those 800 are under the age of 14. The huge growth in the number of youngsters being prescribed the drugs came after the NHS scrapped the age limit in 2014, which was previously 16. Now doctors can give the injections to children from the very early stages of puberty, meaning that in some cases 10-year-olds are receiving them. This is not happening by random chance. After 3 decades of uncovering the networks that really control human society, I'll say that with great confidence, to say the least. And this brings us to dot number 3, which is this exchange of opinion between Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg. And if someone tells me that Zuckerberg really runs Facebook, I'll book them into a naivety treatment clinic. And Elon Musk, who is saying that this development of artificial intelligence is a threat to human existence. It is, big time. And I've explained in my last book, Phantom Self, why. Strange, however, that Elon Musk is also buying and developing companies to connect the human brain to artificial intelligence, what to send satellites up through his SpaceX operation, does for other companies, wants to do vast numbers for himself, that will beam Wi-Fi back at the Earth, which is fundamentally important to this whole AI control system, as again I explain in the books. Whereas he is saying that it's dangerous and threatens human existence, but still goes on promoting it and developing it. Something strange going on? I don't know. He might explain that contradiction. While Zuckerberg, the man-child, is saying, oh no, it's okay, my dad told me, it's all right. Well, it's not all right. What is happening is there is, without wanting to get, dramatic, but I should, we are looking at the takeover of human society and the human race by artificial intelligence. And as I explain in the books, when I say artificial intelligence, I'm not ultimately talking about a few algorithms. I'm talking about an intelligence that is well beyond algorithms, for which this whole transhumanist technological grid is being created for. And here we have a situation where on one side, and it's not just Musk, Stephen Hawking, many other scientists and others have said, hold on, this fusion of the human brain, the human body, and artificial intelligence technology is it's potentially going to wipe out the human race and certainly take it over. So you've got that on one side. And on the other, you've now got these studies confirming each other over and over and over again that sperm counts, which are rather essential to human reproduction, therefore human existence, are collapsing. And at the same time, again, you have this focus on transgender, not to target discrimination, that's always the selling point, but systematically seeking to confuse young people about their gender, young people who overwhelmingly would not have been confused without the propaganda. And it's a big story, and there's many, many, many more dots to connect into that. But you put those three dots together, and what we're looking at is a systematic campaign agenda to destroy humanity in the way that we've known it, and to dramatically, at least dramatically, reduce the numbers through an inability to procreate. And you know, people have laughed at me for this past 30 years. Heck of a lot less now, mind. Because basically the media have told them to laugh at me. And it's the same perceptual dynamic as young people being told to question their gender identity. But there has to come a time, and it is coming, I see it, when the laughter has to stop. Because what is going on in human society, what is going on planet Earth, is something that is light years and light years and light years beyond what appears to be going on. And those who seem to be in control are that level to that, and I say that rather than they, which is really in control in the shadows and from the shadows. And these apparently unconnected happenings are all connected to that siege, that war on even human existence.